Today's learning target is I can write fractions as percents and percents as fractions. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities by division. So for example, if we had 3 out of 5, that would be a ratio. Okay, you could also write it like this: 3 with the 2 dots, 5. Another example would be 7 out of 10, or 10 out of 23. When we have ratios that compare a number to 100, we have what's called a percent. So the percent symbol looks like this, and over here you can see they had 9 out of 100, and that would be 9%. Cent, when you think in terms of money, 1 cent is worth 1/100th of a dollar, because it's worth one penny, 1 cent. So cent means 100. So if we had, let's say, 37%, that would be 37 out of 100. If I had 18%, and you can write the sign either way, like I've done there or like I've done here, 18% would be 18 out of 100. When I want to write a ratio as a percent, first thing I need to do is check to see what my denominator is at. So in this one right here, my denominator is already at 100. And remember, percent means out of 100. So this one right here is 90 out of 100. So to write that, I just do 90%. And you can do percent sign like that. In this second one here, I can see that I have 50.5 or 50.5 over 100. So percent, it's already per 100. So I would just write 50.5 and the percent sign. When I have to write fractions as percents and the denominator is not at 100, what I have to do is I have to make this an equivalent fraction where the denominator is going to equal 100. So what I do is I'm going to look and see what am I going to multiply. And remember, if I multiply both the numerator and denominator by the same number, my fraction will be equivalent. So in my head, I look at this 20 and I say 20 times what equals 100? Well, it would take me 5 20s to get to 100. So this one would be 15 out of 100. And now that would be 15%. Okay? And this second one here, I'm going to times both by 4, because I know 25 times 4 is 100, and now 4 times 4 is 16, so that would be 16%. And 1/2 times them both by 50, and I'm going to get 50 over 100, which would be 50%. Alright, now I'm asked to write each percent as a fraction and to put it in simplest form. So to start with, in this first one here, it's 48%. I know that means that it's 48 and the percent means out of 100. Now I have to do simplest form. So remember, when I'm looking simplest form, I want to know what can I divide into each of those. So I see these are both even. Anytime I see a number is even, I know that I can divide it by 2. So now I'm at 24 out of 50, and they're both even, so I could divide each of these by 2, and I get 12 out of 25. And now the only number I can divide into the numerator and the denominator, that's the same number, would be 1, so it's in simplest form. So in the second one, 6% means 6 out of 100. Again, I see they're both even, so I'm going to divide by 2, and I get 3/50ths. And I know that 3, the only thing that goes into here is 1 and 3. 1 goes into 50, but 3 does not, so this is in simplest form. When I'm asked to compare two amounts, like I am here, I have a fraction, 9/20ths, and I have a percentage, 55%. What I need to do is I need to get either this into a percentage or this into a fraction. And I can do it either way, it doesn't matter. When I'm looking at this one, I'm going to make this into a percentage. And the reason I chose to do that is because right off when I looked at it, I knew if I times it by 5, the denominator, I could get it to 100. So now that gives me 45 out of 100, which would be 45%. And I can see that 55% is larger, so it would be 9/20 is less than 55%. I'll show you one more where we're comparing them. So if I took this 38%, I could simplify that, get it into simplest form. I see they're both even. So I'm going to divide both by 2, and that would give me 19/50. And if I look, that would be equal, so I would put my equal sign between those.